So now let's get back on the earth, and we head straight into industrial IoT. We'll have up next Gal Shaul. He's the CTO and co-founder of Augury. It's an industrial IoT company that brings predictive maintenance with artificial intelligence and machine learning. Today, Gal will share how fast-moving startups can drive a faster rate of change and growth in traditional markets. Let's welcome Gal.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Gal, and I'm the co-founder and CTO of Augury, and really happy to be here. And what we do in Augury is we're a tech company, and we help the largest enterprises in the world improve their manufacturing. We help them improve the health of their machines, production lines, and factories by using AI and IoT. We do that by listening to their machines, and based on that, tell them exactly what's wrong with them and when to fix them. When machine breaks, companies breaks as well. And for a company like us, that's a big opportunity. But that's not the end of the story. Let me tell you what happened in New Orleans in 2017. It started raining in August, which is a bit of a surprise, but not a very big one. And it kept raining for 4 hours. It wasn't the largest flood in the history of the US. It wasn't the best hurricane that ever hit the shores. But out of 8 pumps that were supposed to take the water out of the city, 6 were not working. 3 of them were under maintenance, and the other 3 just stopped working because they had a malfunction. The immediate result of that was 100,000 people losing their home. Evacuated, had to find alternative housing, and it was a nightmare. And you know what? That shouldn't have happened. They could have known beforehand that these machines are not working. And that's exactly what we do in Augury. We help the maintenance teams of those pieces of equipment repair them and know exactly what's wrong with them so they can be better prepared for the future. Let me introduce you to Steve. Steve is a customer of ours, and he runs a maintenance team in a factory. They make toothpaste, and Steve has a group of technicians he's leading, and they make sure that the company keeps running and toothpaste is still being manufactured. When we met Steve for the first time, he was a bit worried. He didn't really want to talk to us. As you can imagine, in industrial enterprises, change is not necessarily a good thing. And they were kind of reluctant to change their process. And when we were able to dive deeper with him into the problem, we were able to understand what is he afraid of? Why doesn't he want to work with us? And we wanted to share today a bit of the stories and a bit of the lessons learned from this. So maybe when you try to change another traditional market, it would help you as well. So the first problem was that we came from the Silicon Valley with all those tech words and AI and IoT and all the buzzwords from here, which may work well here, but when we talk to him, his first fear is that it won't work. And if it doesn't work in his environment, that means that his company is going to lose money, that people can get injured, and he might be fired for selecting that technology. So that wasn't a good outcome for him. When we tried to explore the second opportunity, which maybe does work and they do know what they're doing, that also wasn't great for him. He thought that 60% of the work that his team is doing today will just be eliminated. So then he'll need to fire half his team or be fired himself. Also, not a great outcome. It was only when we started exploring together what would his jobs to be done be in this future? What will he need to do? What challenges will he have while doing that, that we're able to align and start making progress. So for Steve, what he had to do with his team is make that group of technicians technologists. Now they have insights about the business. Now they need to know what's going on. They need to work with spreadsheets. They need to work with data. They have a whole new team, and he was in charge of that transformation. When we aligned with him that that's what we'll do together, and that's what we're going to get him, we were able to make progress. So that was a good scenario for us, but I can share a bit of our learnings throughout the process. So the first one, for us, first and foremost, is to be honest with your customers, especially your early adopters, but in general, kind of good advice there. We had a grand vision, and we pitched it to VC, and we actually were able to raise money with that. But that's not where your product is, especially not initially. Your AI doesn't work yet. Your connectivity doesn't work yet. You don't know exactly the business you're coming to. And being very honest with them was key. We tried it in the past to pitch our VC deck to customers, and even if they bought it, when we deployed it, it was a nightmare. The alignment wasn't there. We're so far off that trust was broken forever. So being very honest and aligning with them that you will be there for them to change the processes, and you will be there together to be able to actually create that transformation was key for us. The second thing, probably a bit more apparent in tech in general, is do things that don't scale. So tech companies were all about scaling. But before you do that, there is a lesson to be learned from your customers, with your early users, with the early people that uses that, and do it when it doesn't scale. And when you work in industrial markets or traditional markets in general, that takes it to a whole new level. It means being with them on site, writing the processes that they're going to work with, spending time with Steve and his team to teach them how to use the product. It's doing the algorithms manually before the AI kicks in. It's making sure that if they don't answer to alerts, someone calls them. If they don't respond, you call them again. So a lot of things that don't scale. Our investors hated it because unit economics was not there, and it took a long time, and it's very manual. But in our opinion, that's the only way you can scale. The only way to scale in industrial markets if you actually know what they're going to do with it, how they're going to use it, who is going to use it, what meetings are changing, and what are the processes that are going to drive new decisions in those organizations. And a very important one is don't necessarily move fast and break things. It's really fun to do internally, so we have, 16, 18, 20 iterations a day when we work on that. But you're limited by the pace of your customer. You're limited by their ability to adopt a new technology, a new process, a new way of making decisions. And you need to really, really be aware of what is change is, what are you asking from them? So what you're asking from them sometimes is to change the way they manage their teams. What you're asking for them is to change their calendar, the way their meetings are going, the way their lives are being managed. Every decision that they make is going to change, and you need to do it one step at a time. So when you want to make a change, you need to remember that on the other side there is someone who just installed a new process, and everything that you think that is the past, for him it's the present, maybe even the future. He's going to deploy that next quarter. They're going to do something about it in their next meeting. So you need to be very, very aligned with them on what's happening, what are you asking them to do, and how hard it really is. And in general, it ends up being that technology is not the solution. It's you. It's not the AI. It's you that's going to teach them. It's you that's going to build a process. It's Steve and his team. It's all about people. Yes, technology is going to transform the market, and it's going to get it to a new place. But in order to really, really make it work, people have to change. And people change because they talk to other people and are inspired. So it's your job in being there, trying to help them in their day-to-day and help them achieve that. Thank you, and let's change the world together.